Cognizant to the needs of our learners, parents, and teachers, the Department of Education provided us with powerful tools for productivity that will allow us to foster critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, communication and collaboration skills to be compassionate, responsible global citizens. Join us and discover new ideas in our series of professional development training program with the ICTS Edtech Unit and Microsoft Education Philippines. Together, we will equip our learners and empower our fellow educators for a dynamic future. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Sulong Edukalidad.
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETUlay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETUlay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICTS Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETUlay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Luzon, Visayas, at Mindanao, may hapon sa tanan. We are now on our 8th week in Philippine politics and governance. So it's quite exciting because this is our last day. I mean, this is just our culmination day. But there are still a lot of things to enjoy, particularly in the fields of political science, di ba? So I'm so grateful na nandito ang ating mga estudyante o mga parents at saka yung ating mga masugid na sumusunod sa ating palatuntunan dito sa ETUlay online tutorial. Ito si Tutor Alan muli sa ating Philippine Politics and Governance. Hello sa iyo, good afternoon. And good day to you, Sheena Ariola. Good afternoon sa iyo, Roma, Dave Espanyo Sarmiento, Feno Fuente, and everyone who are watching to our live telecast. Okay, so what have we here? Of course, we are to get ready because we're about to start, and because it's still sunny day. And some also places in the Philippines are having weather that are unlikely. Eventually, they will rain. So it might you might as well use umbrella or paraguay or parasol. Tawag nila sa nung araw parasol meaning for the sun, and paragua meaning to say for the water. That's something to do with umbrella for the water, to protect us against the rain. So that's umbrella. So that's very helpful for us. Aside from getting ready with your modules, notes and pens, or you just want to focus, that is very fine as long as you are going to comment. Okay? Sige. Good afternoon sa lahat. No? I'm so excited with this discussion. Why I am so excited? But before going further, disclaimer lang po, itong ating palatuntunan is only using a fair use of a copyrighted work for criticism, comment, or reporting or teaching, including multiple copies for classroom use, or this what we call on-the-air use. No, scholarship, research, and similar purposes is not infringement of copyright because we are not getting anything from this. We are a non-profit activity or organization, and we are just bringing this with you in order for us to learn and be educated. So, let's just have a brief overview. Ano yung ating mga lesson sa nakaraan? Actually, I'll just give you a little background of this discussion for this afternoon. This is more than what we have already. When I say more than what we have, this is more than the competencies. Because I believe this is very important. Para bang siya yung pinaka-bottom, or not bottom, pinaka-substance rather, sa lahat ng ating nalalaman sa Philippine politics and governance. And of course, I believe knowing this issue will also know us being Filipinos in this country in which we interact with people with different varieties of behavior, particularly. But, well, politics is not an excuse for it. That is inclusive also. So, what do I know by that? But before going further, let us look the previous discussion that we have. Last meeting, so we have this political engagement and youth empowerment, wherein part of the citizens are the youth, and they are also part or participating or engaging. That's what we call political engagement or participation, in which they are participating or engaged in broad activities whereby everyone express their opinions on the world and how it governs and influences decision making. And part of that political participation or engagement are our youth, mga kabataan. And it was defined in the law, particularly sa yung National Youth Council, that to be a youth, you have to be of the age of 15 to even as far as 30, no? But you got to be elected only from 18 years old to 25. Okay? So, therefore, youth are very essential in the development and of the decision in our land. In fact, they are very vital in making our country become dynamic. Ibig sabihin dynamic, we have to be working towards productivity. And of course, the youth are, according to Jose Rizal, are the future of our motherland. Okay. Hello din sa iyo. Good afternoon, Jeneline Tanay Clotario. Okay? Salamat sa panunood. So meron tayo, this picture really connects now to our present discussion, so to speak. So, 4 pictures in 3 words. Alam nyo yan, di ba? 4 pictures in 3 words. 4 pictures in 1 word. Pero sa akin, 4 pictures or 4 pics in 3 words. So you are going to identify the phrase, which is composed of 3 words among the pictures. Not necessarily literal, but an expression of our topic today. Sige nga, who can guess these 4 pictures forming a phrase of 3 words? And that will be our topic for today. So to dissect, we have the following picture. The first picture above is the picture of our current president, Rodrigo Roa Duterte. And of course, on the right side, or picture about those dancer, no? Dancing the tinikling. Filipinos, this is something to do with our dance or our culture. Now, below, you can see, what is that? The Fighting Filipinos. So if you look at that, oh, looks like a propaganda, right? Propaganda. And then, on the bottom right, we can see here the Congress of the Philippines. So the lawmakers, no? They are on full session, if you can see. So what are these 4 pictures telling us about? Okay nga. You can try. This will be our topic for today. So there's a president dancing, and the dancers, cultural dancers, we have propaganda, and we have the lawmakers. So, para bang ito na yung lahat ng ating nalalaman for this lesson or subject of Philippine politics and governance. Okay? You may try this one. So the answer, wala pa. You just try, wala naman nagkakamali nito. Hindi ko babasahin. Okay, sige. Ang sagot for pics in 3 words in relation to our topic is Philippine political culture. Yan. Diba? Politics. And then we have culture. Yan, nakikita mo may propaganda yung politics kasi that's propaganda is part of telling us what they are agenda all about, particularly, no? Para susulong yung mga mithiin at saka yung objectives ng certain political entity or government. So that's what we call Philippine political culture. So I believe this one is inclusive because we need to learn understanding Philippine political culture. No? Ano ba talaga ang culture ng ating politics? Although we can see around, now let us look into yung masusing pag-aaral. No? Ano bang nakikita natin sa mga pag-aaral? And let us look into this mirror and let us try to look into the different lenses. Ano ba yung mga katangian, culture na dapat nating malaman? So with that, I have these objectives. Define political culture. Identify the types of political culture. Describe the concepts of political culture of the Philippines. Just very easy. Define, identify, and describe. Okay. Political culture pertains. Ano ba yung political culture? So it is defined as the shared values and beliefs of a group or society regarding political relationships and public policy. And it answers the question of how human beings are going to live together. Okay. So it's just telling us our values that we share and our beliefs that we share. Just like the definition of culture, politics also have culture, sharing our ideas, sharing our beliefs, sharing our feelings, no? And that sharing is already building relationship. And this is expressed in public. And this is involved in making policies. So in short, political cultures is talking about what we believe and what we feel and making decision out of it. Kaya nga, sasabihin ko, yung politics may feelings. Kaya nga yung mga yung mga lawmakers, they have this feeling for the people who needs it. That's why their decision might be modified. An example of that is yung ating mga policies ngayon sa IATF, di ba? Minsan, hindi naman yun black or white. Meron din tinatawag na modification based on what the people in that particular community have experienced and have felt. Now, political culture also sets the boundaries of acceptable political behavior in a society. Hindi naman ibig sabihin, pag feel mo yun, pag believe mo yun, i-express mo lang, that's it. That's political culture. About this definition, kailangan din may boundary yon. Hindi limitless. Okay? Although culture is expressed, but it has its boundaries. And these boundaries ay sinasabi dito acceptable. Kasi may mga iba nag-i-express, hindi na acceptable. Okay? Yan. So, political culture can be thought of as a nation's political personality. O tingnan nyo. Sabi ng author, ito ay personalidad ng ating politika. May personalidad tayo. So, ibig sabihin, each country has its own personality by looking into their shared values. So, iba talaga ang Pilipinas. Kahit na sabihin natin magkapareho tayo sa ibang bansa. Like for example, yung United States, meron din silang democracy, pero iba yung kultura natin, yung political culture. So for example, the willingness in the United States to accept the outcomes of elections, without resorting to violence. Nakita nyo naman, but first time in the history of more than centuries that they have the culture, pag bago na yung presidente, mayroon sila mga ceremony. And this ceremony is part of that culture kasi kahit ayaw nila, nandun lahat yon, Republican at representative din ng Democrats. Because what they share is not only for themselves, for their party, but for the nation. Ito sa atin iba ang political culture natin. I just don't want to compare. You know it, no? Because I cannot decide for you because this is about your feeling. And you can also contrast that one to what I have discussed now. Now, these are the elements of political culture. So, ano yung makikita natin? First, there has to be the liberty of freedom. Sinasabi ko ito kasi yung culture natin ay democracy. So, dapat may liberty of freedom. So, at anong ibig sabihin nito? Ano ang element nito ng political culture? So, political, social, and economic liberty of each individual. Okay. Kasi tayo, we can open business as long as we have the boundaries of the requirements, right? And we have the freedom also to speak, no? Freedom of speech and social and economic, no? Kung gusto mong maging rich, magnegosyo ka. Kailangan may capital ka. Okay? Then democratic principle, of course. We know demo. Demo means people. Cracy means from the power of the people. Okay? So believe that the people should be in control of the government. Now, I want to categorize this one. This is not something to do that whatever the public dictates is not dictatorial, but in a boundary. Sabi natin may boundary kasi. The boundary here is through election. Okay? Or maybe through appointment. That's why we have laws that has to be accepted, or shall we say, yes, by the representative, by the majority, and that is what we call democracy. Okay? Papandayin natin yung mga laws, no? Executive, interpreted by the judicial, and then of course by the legislative, the lawmakers. Okay? Egalitarian, ega, from the word equal, meaning believe that everyone should be treated equally by the government. So, ibig sabihin, lahat tayo pantay-pantay, no? Kahit na yung mga nasa lansangan, mayroon din silang karapatan. Individualism. Hindi ibig sabihin yung isa ay pangkalahatan. So, this is independence or self-determination. So, sino naman gustong yung personalidad mo nakukuha ng iba? You don't want to be dissolving your personality. So, gaya ng sabi nila, I am not my father or I am not my brother. Diba? That's individualism. At saka lastly, this is mostly, has a great relationship or attunement with the liberty or freedom, the capitalism. Pag nandiyan yung liberty or freedom, nandiyan din yung capitalism. This capitalism is market-based economy with minimal control to protect the people. Meron tayong open economy. Kaya nga, kung sino yung may capital, mag-open sila according to the policies. And that is capitalism. Okay, these are the elements of political culture, liberty and freedom, or freedom, democratic principles, egalitarian, individualism, and capitalism. Yan. Okay. Now, let's look into the types of political culture. So, meron tayong tinawag na parochial. Meron din tayong subject at saka participant. So, by the image itself, you can know already what does it mean by parochial, right? And subject, meaning to say they are something to do with monarchies. And the participant, meaning to say, para siya, yes, parliament, or there is what we call the legislative hall. So let us look into each one of it. Now, parochial or political culture. Yung parochial political culture, nung araw sa Pilipinas, meron tayong ganito pa. No? And hanggang ngayon, it is marked by the absence of awareness or a sense of citizenship, with people identifying with their locality rather than the nation and having neither the desire nor the ability to participate in politics. By the way, this is something to do with no awareness. Iba yung alam ko pero ayoko lang makisali. That's not parochial. Parochial here is they're living in remote. Like example, remote tribes. Meron pa din sa atin mga remote, no? Mga yung nasa very remote places na sometimes the government can hardly reach them, and mostly from tribal, no? They're not aware. Meron yang iba. Sino pa ang presidente ngayon? Yung last time nila nalalaman, magsaysay. Ngayon hindi na. So those old people, old folks, they are not even exposed to, technology. And these are parochial. Yan, para sila mga caveman. Hindi naman sabi caveman, but they are just focusing only on their local political culture. Kung ano yung kanilang mga very simple policies or laws in their tribes, particularly. Next is subject political culture. So as you can see, this is characterized by more passivity among citizens and the recognition that have only a very limited capacity to influence the government. Okay, what's the difference with this kanina? Kanina, tribal, wala talagang awareness. This one, passive lang. Merong some sort of awareness, but what they have to do is only limited kasi they are subject to something more powerful, like monarchy. Ibig sabihin yung mga hari, reyna, czar, nung araw sa Russia, czar ang kanila, yung babae, tsarina, or emperor, no? Like Japan. So they are subject. Subject means taga-sunod. And then monarchy, yung mga nasa taas. So, yun lang kanila. Alam nila yun. All they have to do is just follow, just obey, because that is what is owed to us. So, they have what we call passive. Sige, susunod tayo kasi ito lang. So, yung political culture nila, wala, straight lang. Susunod, yun na lang. Kasi bawal tayong hindi susunod. We will be punished. Yun ang sa kanila. And the third is the participant political culture. Ito naman, by the word itself, participant, this is one in which the citizens pay close attention to politics. This is not passive. No? This is more on close attention. They're aware to politics and the system of politics, and they have regarded popular participation. Ito na tayo ngayon. So what we have now as political culture, we are now on participant. Iba pa nga dyan, very over-participant. Sabi pa ng another political culture, may subculture na yung nabasa ko, pero hindi ko na nilagay dito kasi that is still under participant. Dahil sa maraming participant, they're making another movement, no? That what we call subculture. So that's example of this is political and interest group. Ano yung mga interest group? Nakita natin yan. Political group like mga partidos, no? Nationalist Party, PDP Laban, Liberal. Yan. Or maybe the interest or civic group, yung sinabi ko, mga civic association, mga LGBT, mga akbayan, like agriculture sector, meron silang representative. Some of these are already the Congress, some are just participating on the ground. Kaya nga may difference yung civil movement at saka yung social movement. Okay? Yan, we have tackled that one before. So those are under participant political culture which we are having now. So the concept of political cultures are, ano yung mga konsepto? Okay, dapat ngayon, kasi participative tayo, we have modernity as a concept of political culture. At saka legitimacy. So, aminin natin, no? A government, a state and a state and a nation, no? Yung nation is cultural, right? By virtue of our blood, affinity, we can be a state, we can be a nation but not a state, no? Kasi may war, and particularly, I mean, pwede tayong may walang state pero nation tayo. Yan. Yan ang nangyayari sa Israel nung araw, sinabi ko nung araw. Kasi before 1947 yata yun, they are a stateless nation. They are only a nation. Kasi galing sila doon, no? And that's why ngayon in 1947 they resettled in that particular part of the globe in in Asia, no? And that's still Asia. Israel is still in Asia, but sabi nila Middle East, kasi Saudi Arabia is Middle East, doon na sila nagkakaroon ng nation. That's why legitimacy, kasi meron silang tinatawag natin, they are recognized by the United Nations to be legitimate. So it's not only the inside but outside legitimacy. Yung meron tayong election, meron tayong constitution, that's internal legitimacy. Meron din external legitimacy. That is the brotherhood of nation or the United Nation, no, among the globe. You are recognized. So that's very important for a political culture na ano bang yung relasyon natin sa ibang bansa. Di ba? Hindi pwede yung sa amin lang, wala kami connection. Kaya nga may global economy because of a global political culture. I think that is very easy to understand. So I'm just making things parang ginawa ko siyang yung ating nalalaman noon, we come up for, we digest everything and then now we're building something in order for us to understand. Yun pala yung sabi ni Sir. Okay. So, another aspect of political or concept of political culture is social capital. Alam nyo, kung hindi tayo democracy, hindi tayo kapitalista. No, kasi yung kapitalista, freedom yun freedom sa negosyo. Kasi pag community tayo, yung country, yung nasa taas lamang ng iilang-ilang mga tao, no? Sila yung magninegosyo para sa iba. Para pang, no, this is not, don't get me wrong, this is parang kooperatiba. Tayo ang magninegosyo, tayo rin ang makikinabang. But that is not in a democratic country. There are those leaders that we put into office and these leaders manage us. And in return, it is the leaders through the, we call that one, treasury natin, no? Get these taxes from the people or from the businesses and of course, make these taxes do something for us, to the people, for the basic services. So in short, pag wala yung taxes galing sa mga negosyo, wala tayo. We cannot function as a nation. So magsisave lang kami. Okay yung savings. Pero pag yung savings mo, hindi mo ginagamit, it will not translate into services. Kasi hindi. Pondo siya, naka-potential energy lang siya, hindi siya kinetic. So to speak, di ba? Pag potential ka, dyan lang, pero hindi mo ginamit. Katulad din sa inyo, nandyan lang, hindi mo gagamitin. Gamitin mo so that it will be utilized. Yung sabi ng social capital. Actually, the social capital here is something to do with, okay, ito na. Yung modernity, yung sacral, at saka yung secular, yung sacral, yung magico-religious. Ibig sabihin, itong aking pagka-presidente ay, itong aking pagka-leader ay, this is the will of God. Yon. At ito namang secular thinking ng modernity, ay hindi. It has to be rationalized. Magsta-study ako. Ibig sabihin, there shall be conducted a study before I will run to the office. There is what we call explanation of everything, political activity that is based on empirical truth. So kaya nga yung iba, gumagawa ng study. Yes. Maggagawa sila ng, will I be a winning candidate? So, nagpapa-survey sila. Yes, good afternoon sa iyo, Michael Levitan. Thank you for listening. Maganda itong ating topic ngayon. Legitimacy, sabi ko, conformity to the rules. So, obligado tayo That's why we are legitimate kasi may mga taong nagli-lead sa atin, yung sabi ko kanina. So election, appointment, or personal charisma. Yung last sa sabi ko, social capital, yun ang tinatawag ng relationship among individual. Social kasi. So, example, di ba, kultura natin, utang na loob. Ay, sige, kunin mo yan kasi utang na loob natin yan. Maganda man yung value na yan. So sometimes ma-misapplied natin, may qualified, ang kukunin lang, kasi may utang ako sa kanya eh. Siya yung tumulong sa akin. So, you're paying back people. Though there are also others that are, highly competitive. Yun nga ang ating kultura, di ba? Hindi naman lahat, pero yun talaga ang nakikita natin. Now, I need not say that is bad. Having utang na loob is good, but too much of it, you know that one in social studies, it is not also good. So, balance lang. And also a culture of trust, tolerance, and trustworthiness. Papagkatiwalaan ka ba? Pag may pera dyan, di mo ba kinikupit? Diba? O, ibig sabihin, yung padrino system at affinity. Yan. I trust ko siya. I want to be surrounded by people who are also like-minded. Well, the like-minded people are those yung mga yung katribo mo, kababayan mo, o kaya kadugo mo, mga pamilya mo. Kaya nga, sa atin, in the higher echelons, makikita mo na kinukuha nila yung kanilang mga kaibigan, mga kamag-aral, o kaya mga relatives, no, sa politics. Kasi of this culture sa social capital. Okay, we're almost done. So politics in short, the importance of political culture, importante ba siya? Oo. Because it helps build community and facilitate communication. Kasi paki-communication, relationship, di ba? Relationship. Express what we feel, so that others may hear and decide. Because people share an understanding of how and why political events, action, and experiences occur in our country. So it's a healthy feeling, it's a healthy attitude, it's a healthy culture to know and to be aware of what's going on, as well as to participate. Okay? So the synthesis is that political participation or engagement are broad activities whereby everyone express their opinions on the world and how it is governed and influence decision making. Filipino youth are engaged in nation building. So we have to participate in order to be here. Sabi nga nila, nangyari yan kasi hindi ka naman nag-participate. Should you participate, hindi talaga nangyayari yan. Kesa naman, we're blaming. At the same way, do not participate. How do we participate? You use yourself in a good political way. Do things that can contribute in your own little way. If you want to help the government, then clean your surrounding and do what is right. Okay? So, an assessment, tingnan natin. Which of the following is not true about the definitions of political culture? Saan dito? A, B, C, D. A, it pertains to shared values and belief. Not true, ha? B, it sets boundaries of acceptable political behavior. C, it is the nation's political personality. Or D, it describes an acceptable political tradition. So, anong sagot dito? Letter only. Hello, Kylie Espinosa from Tarlac City. So, the answer to this is, anyway, you can review this one. D. Yan lang ang hindi tama dyan. It describes all unacceptable political tradition. No, it accepts or it describes acceptable political traditions as long as it has boundaries. Next, letter only. This is the belief that everyone must be treated equally. A, egalitarianism. B, liberty. C, individualism. D, capitalism. The answer to this is egalitarianism. Kasi everyone is treated equally. Okay? Next, 3. This is a market-based economy wherein private individuals or businesses own capital goods. Is it A, egalitarianism, B, liberty, C, individualism, or D, capitalism? Number 3 is capitalism. Kasi yung capital, negosyo yun, di ba? So, market-based economy. That's correct. And number 4, this is a type of political culture in which citizens pay close attention to politics and regards popular participation as both desirable and effective. Keywords here is pay particular attention, meaning they are aware, and they are participation. So the answer is C, participant political culture. And lastly, what is the belief system that characterizes political activity based on experiences and evident truths? Yung totoo, yung nakikita natin, no? Yung there is an actual truth and factual. The answer to this is rational. So, kasi may truth, there is an explanation. So, rational scientific. It's not magical religious. It's not also conformity obligatory. It's not relational tolerance, but rational scientific. To end, I have this a caricature. No? May sabi dito yung isa, yung naka-pitch or pula. No matter how correct you are, there will always be someone who disagree with you. Who disagrees with you. Sabi na isa, kahit sabihin mo na tama ka, no, politically, meron talagang ayaw sa'yo. Meron talagang antagonista sa'yo. Meron talagang hindi nagkagusto or wala, nag-disagree sa'yo. Meron talaga. O sabi nung isa nakablo, well, that's not true. I never disagreed with anyone. Ano mong masabi? So dito pa lang, sabi nung nakablo, hindi naman. I never disagreed with anyone. Pag sabi pa lang niya dyan, nagdi-disagree na siya. May mga tao din ganyan. Hindi ako ganyan. Oh, pero the mere say that he is already in disagreement. So, the essence of this is that it's okay to disagree, but not okay to disrespect. Right? So, in a democratic society, do you have a agree or disagree? This is my challenge to you as a last reflection natin, as a last topic. Agree or disagree? Do you have a good or close relative with whom you disagree on a major issue, political, personal, cultural? If there is, you answer on your own. On what's the issue? And how do you make the relationship work? Remember, it's okay to disagree, but not okay to disrespect. Okay? Diyan lang po tayo. So ito ang aking mga referensya. I have 4 references. And of course, hanggang sa muli, dito sa ETUlay Educational Technology Unit, tutorial on air. Thank you. Maraming salamat. Madamo ginasalamat. Daghang salamat kaninyo tanan sa inyong pakikipag-aral sa akin on air. At saka sana may nalalaman kayo. At saka sa susunod pa natin pakikita, ito si Tutor Alan na sasabing sa susunod uli, paalam and keep safe everyone. Bye!
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETUlay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan bukas mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETUlay free online tutorial session sa mathematics. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETUlay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippine social media accounts. Paalam!